Hello? Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Sparks. I had the privilege of being the development team lead for the SoBA project this semester, Narrable. Narrable is an education technology startup based in Tulsa. They have a digital storytelling platform, and they're currently in 5,000 schools in over 80 countries. Our project this semester was to develop an iPad application to complement the existing web platform and also to perform some market research to look at some more secondary markets to enter. Like any startup, this project started as an idea. And with the help of Dustin Curzon and Phil Dow, the founder of Narrable and our mentor, respectively, this idea turned into the amazing iPad application that you'll see in a few minutes. And the team that I had the privilege to work with was absolutely outstanding. They worked really hard all semester, and they entered knowing absolutely nothing about iOS programming, and I think you're going to be absolutely amazed at what you're about to see. I'd like to thank our fellow, Ryan Phillips, our mentor, Phil Dow, and lastly, the founder of Narrable, Dustin Curzon, for all your help and support this semester. And with that, I'd like to welcome to the stage Landon Dare, Samuel Chinchilla, Joseph Asante, and Daniel Meschter, Team Narrable. Thank you.
Over the course of this semester, we've been working with a small Tulsa-based tech startup company called Narrable. Narrable is a digital storytelling platform that allows users to upload their own photos, record their own voices, and tell unique and personal stories. Narrable is built for education technology and based on the core principle that students learn best by telling stories. Through working with Narrable and performing our own research, we examined numerous secondary markets and have worked to identify two that we think have the most opportunity for growth and new wealth for Narrable. First, the K-4 segment of the education technology market. We recommend that they utilize the newly developed iPad app specifically to enter this market. Second is the online yearbook market. We believe Narrable can flourish here by expanding some of its core functionalities in new and innovative ways. Based on these two strategies, we are confident that Narrable is in a prime position to be prosperous and successful. Hi, I'm Landon Dare, a computer science sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma.
I'm Joseph Asante, a computer science junior from Weatherford, Oklahoma.
I'm Daniel Meschter, an Arabic and economics senior from Hockessin, Delaware.
I'm Samuel Chinchilla, a visual communications senior from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Also on the team, we have Kat Thomas, Rui Zhang, our team leader, Nick Sparks, our mentor, Philip Dow, and our inventor, Dustin Curzon. So, like I said, Narrable is a web-based storytelling platform. It allows users to upload their own photos, record their own voices, and tell unique and personal stories. And it is this powerful pairing of both audio and images that make it perfect for ed tech and a strong basis for a new online yearbook experience. But first, let's talk more about ed tech. Narrable already incorporates such features that allow users to create virtual classrooms and manage students all from the Narrable website. Studies show that students learn best by reiterating information in their own words, and that education technology tools such as Narrable both increase information retention and user engagement in the classroom. And these are some of the reasons why Narrable has already made its way into 5,000 classrooms all across the US. Let's take a look at that education technology market more broadly. So in the US, it consists of 132,000 schools spending $8 billion annually. Now, Narrable is currently reaching grades 5 through 9, but they're looking to expand new areas of this market, specifically K through 4. Now, this area consists of 22,000 schools with 3 million iPads already in circulation. With these numbers in mind, we set out to tailor-make an iPad specifically for this market. And we worked and talked to 17 teachers and incorporated their feedback and their needs into our final designs. We set out with the clear goal that a kindergartner should be easily able to navigate this app and begin creating their own Narrables. And we were fortunate enough to actually test this with some live third graders and their teacher. And we got some fantastic results that were very promising. And we're looking forward to 2 new tests in the near future. So we have this app, and we have this great technology, but the question is, how do we get it into the hands of students? Recently, Narrable has been relying on word-of-mouth sales, but this is not conducive to the growth they'd like to see in this market. The solution is hardware channel sales partners. Companies like Camcor, E-instruction and B&H specialize in bundling hardware and software and combining them, saving schools the tedious process of installing new software on their new equipment. Narrable can now be bundled directly with an iPad and sold in established networks of schools and vendors. Narrable can extend its user experience across multiple platforms and reach new areas previously unaccessed. With our current pricing model of $2 per student and an average of 500 students per school, we project this market for Narrable to be worth $22 million and have the possibility of impacting 11 million students. Based on the work that we've done this semester and the research we performed, we are confident that Narrable can succeed in this market. But we've talked a lot about this app and what it'll do for Narrable. So let's actually see it in action. So now I'm going to hand it over to Joseph Asante to give us a demonstration.
Thank you, Landon. In designing the iPad application, we kept our original target user of the EdTech market in mind, which is a student in grades K through 4. Having taken into account the feedback we received from talking to 17 K through 4 teachers, we were able to incorporate some key design features into our application. These included using large user interface elements, making them easy to tap, using as little text as possible, instead displaying icons for all the buttons, and designing a generally intuitive and simple to learn interface. Having written over 35,000 lines of code since then, we now have a fully functional, user-friendly, robust application ready for integration into the EdTech market. And it's something that we'll shortly hand off to Narrable. So why don't we take a look at it? Thank you. Here you go. So what we have here is the login screen. I'm going to go ahead and tap login as a student. And this takes us right to the main screen where we can see all the narrables created by the student. So a student, for instance, could create a narrable illustrating something they learn in class, such as the water cycle, or perhaps telling the story of their summer vacation. Well, we decided to create a narrable telling the story of our team throughout the semester called our I-CCEW team. So I'm just going to tap it, and it takes us directly into the edit page where we can see all the photos associated with this narrable. So I think it's time to finish this narrable and add one more photo. So I'm going to tap this plus here. I'm going to take a photo. All right, everyone. All right, I'm going to save that. Looks pretty good. And with every change we make to the narrable on the iPad, the app automatically updates the narrable on the server in the background, such that if we were to, say, go on the computer to look at the same narrable, it would be the same between the iPad and the computer. So now that we've added the photo, I think it's time to record some audio on it. So I'm going to tap this record button. We're finally here presenting our project to this lovely audience. All right, let it process, save the audio. It still looks pretty good. Now I think it's time to play it back to make sure it sounds okay. We're finally here presenting our project to this lovely audience. All right? But you know, now that I think about it, I think it would make more sense if boot camp came before dev classes. So I'm going to press and hold and move it like I just did. And you know what else? I don't think this photo of Landon quite fits the rest of the story. So I'm going to tap this right X to delete it. Sorry, Landon. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I think it's time for one final finishing touch. I'm going to tap the title directly and edit it to make it more appropriate. All right, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I think it's time to go into play mode. So I'm going to tap play mode.
This is the boot camp. We're having class together.
During the first 5 weeks of the semester, we programmers were in development class learning the new language and environment that we would need to create this iPad application.
We are hard at work developing this application.
Every Thursday we have dinner before work. This is us enjoying a Thanksgiving feast.
We're finally here presenting our project to this lovely audience. All right, so as you can see, we developed the application in such a way that not only will it easily be integrated into the EdTech market, but it also facilitates a simple adaptation into other new markets, such as the yearbook market that we talked about. So now that you've seen our iPad application, I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to talk more about Narrable's second growth opportunity, yearbooks.
Thank you, Joseph. So now that you've seen the app that we've created that'll help Narrable tap this $22 million market, let's take a look at the yearbook space. Over the course of this semester, the business side of our team did in-depth research into 7 markets that Narrable's digital storytelling technology could impact. And we concluded that Narrable's unique blend of audiovisual functionality would most immediately impact the yearbook market. Now, yearbook companies have recently fallen on some hard times. The industry in the U.S. has, over the course of the past 5 years, lost $220 million in revenue, primarily due to increased competition from social media like Facebook, which provides free, individualized alternatives to traditional yearbook storytelling. Now, based on our research, we know that yearbook companies want to stanch this revenue loss in two ways. First, they want to diversify the income that they get from subscribing schools. Now, by diversifying the kinds of services that they offer these schools, yearbook companies can not only increase their revenue, but they can also increase retention in the schools that subscribe to them. Additionally, yearbook companies want to increase the sales of physical yearbooks by students using yearbook apps. These apps generally allow students to take pictures, upload them to a school web page, and then have them featured in the physical yearbook. Now, let's take the specific example of Jostens, the largest yearbook publisher in the United States. We've heard from Jostens executives that this company wants to expand into the education technology space. They see the same promise in it as Narrable does, and see it as another reason for school administrators to subscribe to their services. Additionally, Jostens currently has an online yearbook app called Replay It. Now, based on our survey of 40 students, student yearbook editors, and parents, we know that only 8% of all the people that could be using Replay It actually use it on a regular basis. As it so happens, Narrable is in the perfect position to help Jostens address both of these concerns. First, if Jostens licensed Narrable's edtech software to the schools that subscribe to it, it could tap that $22 million market that our iPad app accesses. Additionally, we've envisioned Narrable's core functionality and code architecture at the base of a new version of Replay It. And based on the experience of other applications that have undergone a similar redesign of their core user experience, Narrable's version of Replay It could increase usage 7-fold, translating that 8% usage figure into 56%, netting Jostens 3.2 million student users and almost $15 million in additional yearbook sales. Now, to talk a little bit more about how we envision Narrable at the base of a new yearbook app, here's Samuel.
Thank you, Daniel. After analyzing the feedback we received from the people that we interviewed and being empathetic to the concerns they have with current digital yearbook applications, we came to 3 conclusions to guide our design thinking. First of all, like the previous app, this app has to be very simple. We believe one of our interviewees said it best when they said it must be as simple to use as a physical yearbook. Second, it has to have personalized content that is compelling to each individual student. And third, it has to have a community aspect that involves the whole school. Here you can see a student beginning to capture an image. As soon as the image is captured, there are 3 things to tag. The student tags the organization that this is a part of, they tag the people within the photo, and then they pair their audio. As soon as these 3 things are paired, the photo is ready to be uploaded and become a part of a bigger Narrable, depending on the organization that they chose. But why would students upload in the first place? With so many other competing social media applications out there that target this specific age group, we believe that the answer is keeping it specific to what yearbooks are meant to do and having it very personalized for each student. For that reason, we have the groups page. On the groups page, the groups are listed in alphabetical order in all the groups within the school. And as students begin to interact with certain groups, those groups surface to the top, making it more compelling and more relevant to each student. But yearbooks are more than just tailoring it into what each student needs. It's also about having them discover more that's going on around the school. And for that reason, we have the Feature tab. On the Feature tab, yearbook staff can highlight the best of the best from the group's content, as well as making their own narrables that highlight or recap events or weeks throughout the semester. These are some concepts that tackle some of the big issues with current digital yearbook applications while remaining in sync with the current code architecture of Narrable. To recap, what makes Narrable unique is the pairing of photo and audio, 2 of the most natural forms of communication. Through this unique pairing, a student can now tell their story in a unique way. And this unique way of storytelling allows Narrable to tap into a $22 million edtech market and a $15 million yearbook market with Jostens alone. Throughout this semester, we took this simple storytelling idea and executed it in an app that is ready to launch into edtech and concepts that are ready to begin to be user tested within the yearbook market. Whether it's an elementary student ready to tell their story on the field trip they just went on and all that they learned, or a school ready to take the next bold step into a digital yearbook frontier, we're very confident that Narrable offers exciting and promising possibilities. We'd like to thank Dustin for giving us the opportunity to work with his company this semester, and we'd like to thank you all for hearing the progress that we've made. Thank you, and we'd now like to open the floor for questions.
Yes. Well, the great thing about Narrable is that the simplicity of its functionality yields a wide variety of markets that it could have an impact in. And like you saw, we investigated how the storytelling technology could be applied in something like corporate training, for example. To sort of riff off what you were saying, Narrable could be used to go out into the field, have trainers take pictures, and then incorporate them into presentations that employees could view and gain training from. So there are certainly a wide variety of business applications, and it's just that we have our most immediate jump, given Narrable's code architecture, into the yearbook space. But that's definitely something that we'd like to explore moving forward. So we did talk with a few parents, and we talked to one parent who homeschooled her children all the way through high school. Now her kids are in college, and she said that her kids are now at university, so she sees more Narrable being used to help these kids sort of reconnect with the stories that their grandparents told them when they were younger. So we definitely see the potential of this app in the homeschooling space, but the homeschooler parent that we talked to was certainly enthusiastic about Narrable's application in another market.
So there's a lot of competitors right now. Some of the competitors that are doing exactly what we're doing, speaking about the yearbook side of it, would be Snapchat, because they host certain live events, and they make it to where you have a live experience within your phone. But the thing is that Snapchat has a bigger market to target than this specific school market that we're trying to target. So the way we're trying to differentiate ourselves is by making it specific to what a school needs and not necessarily so broad to what Snapchat is doing, which offers a lot of different possibilities.
So I think the key to the question that you're asking is, how would using this kind of app convert to more yearbook sales? 8%? Yeah, 8% currently engage with Replay It. Generally, apps that undergo the kind of core user experience redesign that we're envisioning tend to, on average, see increases in usage of about 7 times. So we projected the increased use of Replay It based on Narrable's rebuild, and then took a conversion rate that's common for other sites that let you order books that are composed of the photos that you've taken, like the site Shutterfly, for example. The conversion rate from site usage to actual buying of the yearbook is generally about 6%. So with the redesign of the app and making it more engaging for students, We project, after that 6% conversion rate, to yield about 200,000 additional yearbook sales, and then net that nearly $15 million in additional revenue for Jostens.
I think we have time for one more question, but we will be having a demonstration out in the hall there area. So if any of you would like to come by and see it for yourselves, we'll be out there later.
Yeah, I think you had your hand up. Yeah. So in terms of privacy, we have one account per student, and a teacher has a list of each student's account and a username, password, so if they forget it, the teacher can access it for them. And so we kind of really minimize the risk of other students coming on their account, or even you students uploading any amount of photos that you said. There is some sort of kind of an overseeing by the teacher, just like what we envisioned with the yearbook market, with the curators kind of watching over it, making sure no inappropriate photos, kind of the same thing, very similar.